opinion on it. And I mean, what we really need in there now is a top businessman, you know.
Yeah, so I think they probably have that. So Roy Barrett, who's gone in as the chairman of the independent directors, MD at Goodbody Stockbrokers, who is at the very top of business in this country.
Yeah, well, obviously with an interest in football, which I'm sure he has. But you know, when Niall was talking early on about what they were going to do and the meetings they had, I couldn't say I was in favour of that, because they were talking about investment for the League of Ireland and conditions. I mean, the fact is, I mean, I was in the League of Ireland myself, and there's some great people and great clubs in it, but it's the attraction. I mean, what I heard before was the attraction was we're going to build, increase the quality of the stadiums, and but I mean, where people go to watch football is on the pitch, you know.
Yeah, as someone who tries to bring their kids to League of Ireland matches, like the infrastructure, the stadiums, some of them are shambles. It's actually putting people off going to games, regardless of the quality, which I think is improved. People won't go because the facilities aren't there, and you can hop down to Leinster where you'll get them.
Yeah, well, I agree that you have to improve I'm not so sure that people won't go if the quality's there. I think they would, actually. I think if you could build the best stands in the world, and the quality on the pitch is not good, people are not going to go. That's my opinion about it. And I think the only way to get the quality on the pitch is, as they've done in this country for years and years and years in the history of the club, is that you get the League of Ireland gets the players from the
schoolboy clubs. Yeah,
schoolboys. I know there is now some of the Shelbourne. You have Shelbourne taking over some of the.
Yeah, you've got the national leagues where the League of Ireland clubs are basically taking over from the traditional schoolboy clubs.
The emphasis on the League of Ireland clubs. You know, like if you produce them, the schoolboys, then they go to League of Ireland clubs. Anyway, you know.
Well, the strategy at the moment is that because we have these 13s, 15s, 17s, 19s leagues with the League of Ireland clubs in, and that the Kevin's, Home Farm, Belvoir, they're all the feeder clubs into those, which is obviously a different way to doing things, and has been quite controversial.
But if you look back over the years, all the international players that we've had have come from Stella Maris, or Home Farm, Kevin's, Joey's, all these leading clubs. Do you know what I mean? That's where they've come from. It's not they haven't come from the League of Ireland, because they've come from, like in my time, Tony Dunn was a schoolboy player. He wasn't that good at 15, 16, and then he went to Shelbourne and went to Manchester, and he was one of the great players. But he'd come through that system. That's only my take on it.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever comes in, I wish them all the best and hope it succeeds. But
I guess ideally it doesn't need to be one or the other, and well, whatever money they're working off, it's not going to be massive over the next few years. And something else they've spoken about, I think, which probably ties into that, is trying to create a scenario where actually clubs in Ireland are getting a better fee for their players when they do go to England, and that could all then trickle down.
Well, that's a help, obviously, but you won't get the players in the schoolboy clubs unless you concentrate on putting the resources into the schoolboy clubs. You know, the League of Ireland in this country is the top level, you know, but they never have produced the young players. And I know there are different systems now where the schoolboys are attached to the clubs now. But from what I see of it, some of the schoolboy clubs have better facilities than some of the League of Ireland clubs.
No, there's no doubt there's a risk to what they're doing, and that's.
I mean, good luck to them. I wouldn't necessarily be in favour of it. That's all. That's just my opinion on it, Nathan.
Right, we'll see what happens over the coming months and years.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, I hope whatever happens, it works, and we improve whatever needs to be improved.
We'll get on to Liverpool then, and we'll talk a lot more about the game with Wolves, and we'll get on to the Manchester United game as well. I know you were watching the football over the last couple of nights, and Manchester United beaten by Burnley. Somehow they're still 5th in the Premier League table, but an 8th defeat, 7 of them against teams from 10th down, and the defeat to Liverpool as well. Like, last night wasn't a smash and grab by Burnley. It seemed like as straightforward a win as you'd ever have at Old Trafford. It seems to be getting worse rather than better. Well, it's not getting any better, Nathan, that's for sure. I mean, it wasn't as if Manchester United were attacking all the time, were unlucky and had great chances. The fact is they didn't. You know, Burnley had to defend in the second half, as we saw, but they defended quite comfortably, really. And I mean, they're a hard working side, Burnley, but they
they're certainly not up there with the top boys. So it was poor for Manchester United, there's no doubt. And I mean, no, Rashford is injured, but it's not getting any better, that's for sure.
Do they have the players?
I don't think.
There's a different... So Pochettino is obviously the name that comes up again and again. If there was no investment coming and he was to step in the next couple of weeks, could a different manager do more with that group of players?
Well, they probably could do a bit more, but it wouldn't. I don't think they'd be good enough to challenge, for the big trophies, as we've seen Manchester United in the past. There's still a lot to be done. I mean, they have bought a few players in, Nathan, as we saw. Do you know what I mean? They've been some.
Who've generally done quite well. Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and
Williams.
Daniel James,
looks a good player.
And Williams come in.
But they should be. They shouldn't be the best players. You know what? The ideal situation as a football club is to bring youth in to join the older players, and they bring them on. You know, now it's the young players who are probably the best players. It's not balanced in that particular way.
So a lot of their better results have been against the top teams when they don't have a lot of the ball and they catch them on the counter-attack. But the results against teams in the bottom half where they have possession and they just don't seem to know what to do with it. Like, have you ever seen a Manchester United team so poor in midfield?
Not for a long time. But you have to go back to how it's set up, right? And it has to be in a club. There has to be a balance to where the top people are to relate to what the manager wants. The main thing in any football club, and should be the main person, is the manager. I don't think Solskjaer is the main man in the football club, not by a long chalk. So they have a transfer policy at the moment, and they have brought some young fellas in. But is he in charge of that? I don't think he is. And he should be the one that's driving it to say, well, I want an experience. I need an experienced player in that position. He should be the one that's driving it, and I don't think he is. And that's your basic point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back to Liverpool when Klopp took over, was it 4 years ago? Right? Liverpool weren't going anywhere, you know. But there's no doubt that Klopp was in charge of the situation at Liverpool, right? And I know he's been there 4 years, but he's been in charge of getting certain players out, getting certain players in. That's his judgment, right? And that's your starting point. That's your basic point in managing relationship in the club. I don't think Solskjaer has that authority to do what's needed to be done. I mean, in the summer, for example, when they did buy the 3 players, they are young players, they're good players. He was on his holidays. I don't think he had much to do with it.
So, whether or not he has the power, and it doesn't seem he has a huge amount of power in terms of transfers, there's also clearly problems further up the line with Ed Woodward and their difficulty, it seems, with getting deals over the line. So they're trying to sign Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon at the moment. They're clearly desperately needing players, and it seems as though it'll go right down to the wire, or if they can get the deal done at all. Like, that's not how a club that sees itself as the biggest in the world should be operating, surely.
I agree with that. And you say, what's the lad's name?
Ed Woodward.
Not Edward, the player, the Portuguese players.
Bruno Fernandes.
Right. Now, you'd have to say, first of all, you'd have to say, is he Solskjaer's pick? Right? Never mind whether a man can get him or not, who's picking him? Right? I get the impression it's not Solskjaer that's doing them. So even if they get that over the line, Solskjaer's getting a player that's not his player. And I think I said before in this programme a few times, every manager has a vision of what they want on the pitch. Right? And the only way to fulfil that vision is get the players in that you want. And nobody agrees on players. I mean, I was very close with Peter Lormer and Norman Hunter on players, say, for when we played together. And Norman said, I don't fancy him. And I think he's really good. You know? There's nobody who agrees all the time. But the person that has to have the say in it is the manager, because he's going to be responsible for results and everything that goes with that. Right? So you'd have to, I mean, if Solskjaer was here now, the first question I asked, do you want this Portuguese player? You know, he said, yeah, I'd love to get him. Now you go back to Woodward, you've got to get that for me. Then he's failing in his job. But if Solskjaer said to us, no, I don't really want him, then it doesn't matter what the CEO would do. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you have to have that thing in the club. There has to be a setup in the club where the manager says, this is what I want. Now, like in Ferguson's time, he had, I can't think of the lad's name that he had in, got the players for him.
Above him?
Yeah.
When David Gill was there.
So his name,
David Gill?
Gill. Now, there's no doubt they had a good relationship. And I think Ferguson trusted him completely. I want Joe Bloggs. I'll get him for you. Or I'll try and get him for you. Right? But it was Ferguson's choice. I mean, all the great years, there was never any director of football at Old Trafford. Ferguson was in charge of it, quite rightly. And he got the players in that he wanted. He got rid of the players that he didn't want. So Gill was the man, but he trusted him. I don't think that I think there's a separation between Solskjaer. I don't think Solskjaer is saying to Woodward, I want Joe Bloggs. I'll see if I can get him for you. They're going for it. Whoever's making the decisions there. I don't think Solskjaer has been even...
Final say.
I don't think it might not even be addressed.
Right.
On this is what we're going to get. Like, he's just given it, and that's it. And that's why the club is in... You talk about why is the club in the mess, and there should be more of a structure to it. That's your main structure. The relationship between who's getting the players
and who's the manager
and who wants the players.
The win last night for Burnley was the first time they'd won in Old Trafford for 58 years.
Yeah.
I know you've a good memory of matches. Do you remember playing the last time Burnley won at Manchester United? 5-2?
Yeah, hammered.
Yeah.
I think they went on to win the league that year.
In 62?
Yeah. I think they were a terrific team. Jimmy McElroy, yeah. They did some terrific players in it. They nicked it from Spurs.
Right.
I think it was they might not have won the league, but they were a first-class team, and I remember getting a right hiding.
Was that a good United side? So you were playing Nobby Stiles, Dennis Laws on the team?
No, we weren't good. I think we did okay. The following year was 63. Actually, we won the cup, but we struggled against relegation. Actually, we played Manchester City in a big match. It was only about 3 or 4 matches to go, and we were near the relegation zone. But after that, after 63, then it picked up at Old Trafford.
We saw last night, like 5 minutes from time, that, like, Old Trafford's almost deserted. Like, the United fans had enough, and granted, we're at a stage where games are kicking off at 8:15. They're ridiculously late anyways. People need to try and get home and things like that. But it just shows what's going on. When you think of a game like that in 1962, was that a jolt for Manchester United, being beaten 5-2 at Burnley, or was it something that would have caused ructions?
Well, they wouldn't have been happy about it, but that was a time, you see, in 1962, 63, 61, 63, the club was recovering from the Munich air disaster. So there wasn't the expectations on the team at that particular time that you have now, Nathan. Now, the crowd wouldn't have been pleased about it. I don't remember them going out like 50 minutes before the end. And like, this was a different Burnley team. Like the Burnley team of today, with respect to them, they're average. I mean, the Burnley team at that time would have been expected to win, actually, at Old Trafford. Right,
yeah, Burnley had won the league in 1960, finished third that season. Everton won the league that season, but we're obviously thereabouts all the time.
Oh yeah, they were really, really top-class team. So they wouldn't have, like, I think last night, I'd say the majority of Manchester United supporters going to Old Trafford would have expected a win, Nathan. And that's where you get the disappointment. In 1962, I don't think many of the United supporters would have really expected a win in that particular match.
We've spoken about a lot of the great players you played with and played against over the years. Dennis Law?
Oh yeah, great.
Right up there?
Yeah. Dennis was he was a striker, Dennis. Very good in the air for his. He wasn't a terrifically big lad, but he was the most dynamic player I ever played with or against. Balls flying across the box was nobody else could get them.
Just his movement.
Yeah, quick and aggressive. A very aggressive lad playing as well, but quick, really quick, and anticipated it obviously to get there in the first place. But he'd get coming back off the goalkeeper. He'd be the first in. Balls flying across the box. He'd get it. Nobody else would get it. And I was a great player, Dennis. Dennis was very unlucky. He got a bad knee injury before they won the European Cup. They didn't play in that match, and Dennis wasn't quite the same after that, because he needed this. He had to have the right physical attributes to do what he did. And once he got a knee injury, it slowed him down a little bit. He still was a good player. He went to Manchester City then after that, but he wasn't quite the same Dennis Law as before. And he was dynamic. He was a terrific player.
Yeah, because the clips you'd see of him, you could even imagine him as a winger at times, and seemed to have that trickery. But his goal scoring record suggests he was just a brilliant poacher.
He wasn't. He didn't contribute that much in the general play, and he wouldn't be. He wasn't a lot of beat players actually. It was more. He was dynamic. You know, ball over the top of the defender, he'd be onto it like a shot. Ball flying across the box, and aggressive with it as well. You know, because most like Jimmy Greaves was a great goal scorer, did it in his own way, but Jimmy wasn't aggressive at all. You know, Jimmy wouldn't tackle a hot dinner. You know, whereas Dennis would be. He was aggressive, really aggressive, and he'd be on top of it, and he'd be making himself noticed. Let's put it this way, in and around the penalty box, and good in the air for his height, Nathan. You know? He would have been one. I think
an Aguero type. An Aguero, a Sergio Aguero type.
No. This guy was dynamic. I mean, Aguero is what he is. He gets in the right positions and he knocks it in, but he wouldn't be. He wouldn't be the one that would be putting a defender under pressure. And I mean, Aguero's a great player, as we know. But Dennis was unique in what he did. He was quick, dynamic, read the game well, pure striker. Although I think afterwards, he said he preferred to play in midfield.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he have that talent?
I don't think so. I think where he played was.
You were like,
where he was
you
best.
stay where you are and I'll stay where I am and we'll all be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We need to take a very quick break. We'll talk about Liverpool then.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Duff and Heskey.
Think you've got what it takes to become one of the next Aldi Ireland suppliers? The Pat Kenny Show has teamed up with Aldi to showcase the best small and medium food and drink suppliers Ireland has to offer. Not only will you benefit from the Grow with Aldi Supplier Development Programme, but you'll also have the chance to get your product on the shelves in 140 Aldi stores nationwide. Enter by Friday, February the 7th at newstalk.com/Grow with Aldi and tune into the Pat Kenny Show weekday mornings from 9 on Newstalk for more details.
Grow with Aldi. Proudly supported by Newstalk.
At Centra, we have great offers in store. Like Centra Irish Pork Loin Roast, save 33%, now $6.96 per kilo. Nestle Cheerios 375 gram, half price now €1.64. And Heineken 20 bottle pack, only €18. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy call sensibly.
Quality, performance and reliability. Volkswagen commercial vehicles are vans that deliver, and until January 31st they have offers to match. Upgrade bonuses of up to €4,000 across the range. Test drive a new Volkswagen commercial vehicle at your local dealer or visit volkswagenvans.ie and we'll come to you. T's and C's apply.
With CAO on your mind, you're curious to find out what you can become. UCD is Ireland's #1 university for graduate employability. Our students are curious about the world around them, constantly challenging themselves to think bigger, go further, learn more. Because when we open our minds and let loose our imaginations, the scope of what we can achieve is limitless. Find your degree at ucd.ie/CAO. UCD. Think bigger.
It's the final weekend of the Harvey Norman Big Sale, and your last chance to get big savings on mattresses, beds and bedroom furniture. With Irish-made mattresses from a low €99. Big savings on luxury bed linen at up to 70% off. Double beds from just $199. Plus extra savings on upholstered beds, wardrobes, bunk beds and kids' beds. Incredible savings and easy ways to pay with up to 36 months interest-free finance terms available. The Harvey Norman Big Sale. Final weekend.
Go! Terms and conditions apply. See harveynorman.ie/finance.
What could be more magical than a relaxing winter break with your loved ones in the 5-star luxury surroundings of Dromoland Castle, County Clare? Voted one of the top 10 resorts in the world by Condé Nast readers, our Castle Awaits package includes bed and breakfast plus 1 dinner for 2 nights in a Queen Anne classic room from just €295 per person sharing. Your Castle Awaits. Book your winter break now at dromoland.ie.
Here at 123.ie, we're always trying for better. We tried a free pony with every policy. Well, the world wasn't ready for that idea. But saving 10% on a new car insurance policy when you buy online, you liked that, didn't you?
123.ie. Give better a try.
Acceptance criteria, T's and C's apply. 10% off new policies only. 123 Money Limited trading as 123.ie is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. RSA Insurance Ireland DAC provides 123.ie car insurance.
Mattresses delivered anywhere in Ireland, absolutely free. Choose from a fantastic range. Mattresses Delivered is a wholly owned subsidiary of Bargaintown. That's mattresses-delivered. Don't forget the hyphen.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Duff and Heskey.
Welcome back. John Giles is in the studio. I'm tempted to just keep on with the conversation about Bobby Charlton and George Best, which is fascinating. We might save that for the football show a little bit later on when you're back in. We've a bit more time because we're tight enough at the moment. Let's briefly chat Liverpool. So they're playing Wolves in just under 10 minutes, on change from the weekend against Manchester United. There was a gulf in class, clearly. The 10 minutes to stand out is just after half-time where Liverpool... I look back that night. Manchester United, not a single United player touched the ball in the Liverpool half for the first 10 minutes of that second half. Is that Liverpool as good as you've seen them at times in that game?
Yeah, well, all games are different, Nathan. Sometimes you go 2 up after 10 minutes and the game is virtually over, especially with a team like Liverpool. What we saw last week was a team that were winning 1-0. That could have been 3-0. You know, it could have been a walkover, really, in many ways. And that didn't happen. And that when you're playing in that situation and you're only the 1 up, there's a little bit of nervousness about getting the second one or Manchester United breaking away and getting a goal. But they dominated it. I mean, it should have been all over, I'd say, in the first 20 minutes. They were far too good. I mean, they were way, way ahead of Manchester United, despite the score. You know, I think if you look back on it during the game, I think if they'd won 4-6-0, it would have just been about right.
Because the way Solskjaer was talking after the game was, you know, showing progression, showing character, we stuck with them.
Yeah. That's manager talk, Nathan. You know, when I was a young fella, my father used to say about managers, all the geese are swans. And my experience of managers, when I was playing manager at West Brom and that, I never came across a manager that said, well done, you were the better team.
Right.
You know? It was, I remember
and you got to be like that.
Well, it doesn't matter, really. But they all could see their own team. You know, we played Manchester United when Tommy Docherty was the manager, for example. And we had a good win at the Hard Times. I think we won 4-0, 4-1. And you see Tommy afterwards. And Tommy, they all talk about their own team. You know what I mean? Tommy would say, do them good. You know, they needed a kick up the backside. Not, well done, your team. You know what I mean? And I found it extraordinary because I was new into management, you know. But it was very seldom they didn't talk about their team.
Right. The way Liverpool played in that game, and it's been a factor all season, like they press right up. So the centre-halves play on the halfway line. They don't let teams out. I know there were probably concerns about that in that, like, you're a long ball forward at the right time, players can get in behind. If the offside trap doesn't work perfectly, there's issues. Like, have they pretty much perfected it? Are you surprised by how successful they've been with that?
No, I don't think they've been successful all the time with it, Nathan. I think because they're such a good team, they're going to be attacking more than anywhere else. But there have been a few occasions in matches where they got away with it. It's not necessary. It's the old offside trap where you talk about pushing them up and that. It's the offside trap. They've got players like Gomez, Robertson. These are all quick players. And I've seen it on a few occasions where they got away with it. They mightn't have done last, mightn't have been Manchester United. But I don't think it's necessary. I think if they drop off the pace behind them, like there will be a stage where somebody will come. There has been, I've seen it this, where somebody's come from deep and they get in. There's no, in other words, it's not a ploy. It's a weakness. Actually, not just for Liverpool, any team doing that. You're taking a chance all the time, where if you defend properly, which is to drop off with the pace that they have, teams would have no chance of scoring a goal, in my opinion.
They're obviously not conceding goals at the moment, though. Playing this like 7 games without conceding.
They won't, Nathan. They won't. But you'll find, I guarantee by the end of the season, you'll see 1 or 2 or 3 occasions where they will lose goals from that. Right?
Is it worth taking the risk then if it's only...
It's always worth taking
a small number of goals.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how important that goal can be. A goal can win a match. It could be 3 points for you. What I'm saying, there's no need to do it with the players that they have. Any players, I've never agreed with playing this offside trap, unless somebody's taking advantage, where they're not getting back when they should be getting back, and you push out and you leave them behind. But in general play, When you go back to the start of the season, I think it was the old Charity Shield. I think they played Manchester City. There was at least 3 or 4 occasions in that match where City got through, right? But when you're playing against teams that are inferior to Liverpool, right, they don't get a chance to do that, because Liverpool have the ball most of the time. But in my experience in football, that somewhere along the line, you will pay the price for that. But they're such a good team that other teams don't get a chance to do it. Yeah. But it's not necessary, Nathan. All you have to do is hold your ground, and the ball's going to come over the top, and you've got an advantage on the race back to the goals. Whereas the other way, it can be something can happen, and some of them have been very, very close at times. I'm just giving you my opinion on it anyway. Yeah, we are at a time, and that game gets underway at 8 o'clock. You're going to watch it first and come back in. I know you don't like previews. Do you think Wolves have a chance in this game? I think Wolves are a good side. I think you've always got a chance. I wouldn't back them, obviously. I'd back Liverpool. I think Liverpool will win. But, we saw them at Anfield a few weeks ago, and there was a couple of decisions went again. Quite right. They were right decisions, actually. But they're a good team. But they've had a heavy schedule, Wolves. They've had a really heavy schedule. Europa League. They play more matches than anybody else. So I think it like playing now so many matches could come against them. If I was backing anybody, it would have to be Liverpool. But Wolves are capable at any time of getting a result. They have good players. All right, that game gets underway in just a couple of minutes' time. John will be back with us on the football show. We'll also talk to Philip Quinn about Niall Quinn's appointment as interim deputy CEO at the FAI, and we'll talk to Seanie Maguire as well. But up next, we're talking rugby with Tom English and Keith Wood.
Join that conversation. Text us on 53106. Texts cost 30 cents.
Kids, it's back on.
And the award goes to...
Oh no, is it buffering?
No, Mum. They're just building suspense.
Is the Wi-Fi down? Stop using the internet.
Mum, it's fine.
Charlie, will you get off that video call? Carrie, get that silly filter off your face.
Joanne!